Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Vintage Story. So we're actually picking back up directly after the last episode. I've got the last 40 ingots of copper running, so I'm going to get that poured out real quick. And then I went ahead and thrown on my heavy gear because we are going to head down into the cave. So I think what we're going to do is go mine that iron, but we're also going to explore that dungeon area, because it would be really nice. We've got plenty of temporal gears. We should have over an entire chest filled of temporal gears at the moment. But I'm hoping that we can find one more piece of metal scrap, and then we might check out a translocator today. Because of course it's still technically a little bit early to start spring. I can't really build because I'm tapped out on everything. I've got to smith stuff. I need iron, you know. It's kind of that like limbo period where I've pretty much ran through all the gas I've got to build and to excavate and do all that. So we ended up running through like 20 picks or more during the winter. And of course that's the reason we waited for a long time to start our mountain base, because it's just not realistic early on. You know, if you're planning on doing it at a pretty big scale like what we're going to be doing here, so... That's like the forge that we're in right now probably is not going to be the only forge in the keep. It's going to be one of the forges in the keep, but it's probably not going to be the only one. I like forges. If you couldn't tell, I like forges a lot. All right, we should be all set. I've got some turnips on me. That was basically just because I was trying to get my vegetable food group up a little bit. I'm not going to take our shield down there with us today, and the reason being we're not actually going like super deep. So the drifters that we're going to be running into are probably just deep drifters, which do like no damage. And the locusts that we're going to run into are probably just going to be default locusts, which also don't do a whole lot of damage. So I'm not going to worry, I don't think, about the shield. There's a path down there. We haven't checked it out yet, but where I want to head is for the iron in the locust area at the moment. See, I wouldn't have heard this except for the fact that I really listen while I'm caving, because I feel like that's an important part of caving, is to kind of listen for like the sound of water and stuff like that. Alright, now I want to head for the locust area first, I think, which I remember there's a big chasm that spans across it, so I brought some dirt with us. Okay, right here's the iron. I think it was around up that side of the iron, which we're going to come back. We're going to mine up this iron. This is a rich deposit, but I think it was just past the iron was the locust nest, like up through here, because I seem to remember going to the iron and then realizing I'd made a wrong turn somewhere. Yeah, here we go. This is what we want. Now getting across this is going to be slightly precarious at first, but we're going to go ahead and bust our very first locust nest. They don't seem to notice me. Well, they might now. But there we go. What did we get? Metal scraps and rope. Alright, let me get rid of that water. Now it looks like it goes on down, so we're just going to be tackling the first section here at the moment. Oh yeah, it goes on down there. We'll try to check that out too, but... Ah, there we go. We got some metal spikes. This is a big one too, so hopefully we get some good stuff out of this. Being attacked. I don't know that I really care that much. I mean, like I said, locusts, they don't do like any damage through our plate anyways. Still a bunch more, but oh, there's a locust nest cage. I didn't even see it up there. Let's get that. And we got ourselves some cinnabar. Still no metal scraps just yet, but we did get a rusty gear. And I want these for decorating. So sometimes they'll drop themselves. And we definitely want these for decorating out our base, you know. Gotta have them. They should make sense. I did notice a little bit of copper off over there. It is a rich deposit, so we gotta go down and get the rest of our locust nest items. And honestly, this one hasn't been too bad. Sometimes you get into ones that are like quite a bit stouter. I think I saw metal parts. I did! We got our metal parts that we needed. That's awesome. They almost blend into the andesite, to be honest. Alright, so what do we got down here? I know it goes a little bit deeper back that way, but... Okay, this is just a dead end. Oh, but there's copper in this dead end. I'm going to have to, like, re-explore these caves later when it comes to excavating all this copper, but... that might actually be it. I'm not noticing any more locust spawning. Always a sign that your fun might just be over. But that's okay. We actually got our metal part that we needed. And it wasn't a very dangerous one, as you saw. I mean, that was actually extremely easy. If you get into some of the deeper dungeons, they can be a bit stouter. But this one was pretty easy, to be honest. I do see more copper down here. I want to poke my head down in this cave. I hate using up my pick durability right now for something like this, because like I said, this is my last pick, but I think we'll be okay. We should be able to get enough iron. Rich copper deposits. More copper. I'll be honest, it's not often that you're just like swarmed with copper to this degree. I've got so much copper. Oh. I'm just going to focus more on dodging this one. Because as you can see, they're not that hard to dodge. There we go. How did we do? Rusty gear and a little bit more metal scraps. Okay. Man, this cave, it just never... No, it does. We've been through here. This is actually an area that we have previously been through. Okay. We got another... Whew. Come on up here to flat ground, please. Aha! Ha ha ha! And we got more metal parts. Great. Great stuff. Okay. So at this point, I think we're just going to head back to the iron, mine up what we can of it. I don't know that our pickaxe is going to last the entire time, but I think it's going to be back this way. But we're at least going to mine up what we can, and then we're going to make our way up. Now, I do know that we haven't explored everything that's down there. You know, that cave goes deep, it seems like, because there's a bunch of, like, really big drop-offs. So I'm certain that there is a lot more cave to explore, but for now, that's good for us, I think. Okay, I'm happy to say, I was worried at first, but I'm happy to say that this vein was big enough to break our pick. But I started mining over here, and you can see I didn't go very far in. It wasn't, like, super deep or nothing. But of course, I've got all of this side over here still remaining. I pretty much mined all of this side, I think. I do believe. I think I've gotten... Because I went in right over here. You can see there wasn't much in here. I might excavate a little bit more. But this side over here is where it's at. This is just the far end of the node. So it goes on through here, as you can see. And it keeps going over there. I can't mine that because that's a drop to death, pretty much. So I haven't been over that way. But look, back in here, we keep going. We keep going. So we've got a lot of node left. And at the moment, I have gotten 4.5 stacks out of here. Plus, I did get a crystallized chunk, and I did get our sample. for rich iron in andesite. So, very, very exciting stuff. So I'm going to head up and get on out of this cave for now, because we have gotten what we came for. I've got enough iron to do like a big processing run, make a bunch of tools, that sort of thing. Which this first batch is pretty much going to be picks, swords, and chisels. Or picks, swords, and hammers, I mean. Not chisels just yet. But I'm going to get these bloomeries a-going, I think. I need to get more charcoal going, too. Hello. Hello. Oh, I'm so going to make so many lights this year. And you guys, in my smith, it's not going to happen anymore. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and use some of the ingots that we made to, like, get me just another pickaxe head and some stuff like that. If these drifters will ever leave me alone. Which I don't think it's going to happen. Sword, 2 picks, and a hammer, I think. I think that's pretty reasonable. And then, here in a little bit, once our bloomeries are done, we'll have plenty of iron again. And then I'll do a big tool batch alongside the health hammer. But for right now, I do need some tools. It feels so weird now, smithing tools without having a bloom step. Because we've been doing it for so long now. Yeah, we've actually got enough temporal gears just up here to activate a translocator. Not to mention what all I've got down here. Yeah, see, we've got almost an entire chest of temporal gears. Technically over that with this, but... Oh, and there's actually a couple in this chest. I think I put them there during that one where I was running around with no pants. I was just double checking my chest because I've got a little sorting here to do. Here that needs doing anyways. Okay, so we've got 92 rusty gears. Thank you, Temporal Storms. So we've got a bit of spending that we can do today. And like I said, I would pick up parchment if they've got parchment. Because that's one of those things I don't feel like you can ever have too much of. Because I like putting labels on things once we get things really, really, really sorted out. And we're going to have some labels on our crates in that stone warehouse, and we're gonna have a bunch of labels on things once we get into the storage area of the like the keep up there. For me, that's one of those like no-brainer buys. But honestly, at this point, I could totally go for purchasing some maybe paintings or new seeds. I do want to check the agriculture trader for sure. Okay, what do you got? It looks like a lot of garbage. What are you buying? More importantly, charcoal, steel, 3 gears apiece. Oh, I can't wait. Okay, and you buy copper lanterns, 5 gears, you'll buy 2. Yeah, see, I should have brought bread with me. So we get 1 gear for 8, 1 gear for 8. And that's super cheap, right? That's just 8 pieces of grain. And bear in mind, you can cook 4 of these at a time once we have a big cooking area. Because that's 9 gears that we could make off just a little bit of bread. A little bit of grain, basically. And some time. And some firewood. So, you're not buying anything that I would want to sell. But you are selling Hunter in the Forest and Bog Forest. I'll tell you what, I'm going to buy both of the paintings, I think. Yeah. Let's take both of those. We got our first couple paintings. Right up here is our translocator. I never marked that trader as to what it was. I think it was building supplies. We should be right up here. I'm going to need to, actually, whenever we get back home, I'm going to need to make up a new bow. Which means we'll be able to make a long bow, which will be nice. We never got this. I'm going to take it. Although I do not really need it. Alright. Translocator, you are now repaired. I'm going to go ahead and mark it, actually. Just on the map. So that way I can maybe dig down, a better space to access this. But let's go ahead and step through our second translocator. I'm very, very excited. Oh, we got granite. Yes! And I could see sunlight. Oh, that's good, though, because I was thinking the other day that I would like to have some granite to build with. Let's get our crates. We got a lot of crates. I like it. Where are we at exactly? I'm going to go ahead and mark this as home. Translocator. Okay, we're up to the north this time. This time around, we went up north. Quite a ways, in fact. Alright. Let's just have a quick peek around and just saltpeter. This looks like it's going to be kind of a non-exciting cave. Maybe. We might be deeper than I think. I thought we were actually pretty close to the surface, but there's deep drifters here. I love the fact that we've got granite here. Like what appears to be a granite quarry. Maybe. I didn't bring ladders with me because I was kind of hoping we would get lucky again. And so I just brought dirt. Oh, come on. Get out of here. Oh my god, there are so many drifters because it's such a big open space here. Oh my gosh. I think we can reach the surface here, though. A bit easier. So I'll mark this kind of as like home cave or something. And yes, I'm remembering to mark it this time. Okay, so let's cross our fingers and pray for Terra Preta. Wow, look at the mountain. Are you Zinc Mountain? I think you're Zinc Mountain. That's what I'm going to hope you are anyways. Not much trees, but that's not really a big deal. We could change that. I kind of like living around all these big mountains. So, we are going to be looking for fruit trees. We are going to be looking for crops. We're going to be looking for traders. We're going to be looking for all the things. Oh, but there's a trader right over here. Because I got gears to spend today. You are clothing merchant. I'm going to go ahead and mark this trader. I don't see much I want to spend gears on right this second. Now, of course, this translocator, it's not quite as convenient as our last one, but that's okay. We'll have a road up to it before too terribly long. I've got it started. That's the hardest part usually. Wow, I love that mountain though. It's just so round. Like I almost imagine like maybe it used to be a volcano or something. Looks like we're going to come out of the woods. We're just happen to be traveling through like the super dense woods here. Yeah, and then I'll probably swing over in this direction, I think. But so far, nothing too crazy here. But we did find a beautiful landscape. I love that mountain. I'm a sucker for big mountains, you know. Used to, actually, before I started doing YouTube, I almost always did mountain builds. Fun fact. Like on Minecraft and stuff, almost always mountain builds. But of course, doing videos and stuff, I try to mix it up a bit, not just do a bunch of builds in mountains. We have a tool vessel. Copper axe and a flint axe. So you can keep the flint one. I'll take the copper, I guess. So we just have these massive mountains up here, which I really love. These are like all the siblings of Copper Mountain. I should have brought a prospecting pick with me, but I didn't. Okay, it looks like we have granite and gravel city here. See a ruin. I see a trader. Awesome. Trying to keep my eyes open for a trader. I'd like to have, you know, like a commodities trader that's not super far. Though at present, this one's not much closer than the other one, and we have to do a lot of cave stuff. But I'm also glad that we came across one of those big, like, open-air caves like that, because, you know, you find them on occasion, but they're actually fairly uncommon to come across, in my experience. And they always just look amazing. Okay, you don't have anything good. Yeah, it's a lot of the same crops is what I'm seeing. I was really hoping for, like, an agriculture trader. And that way we can kind of double dip whenever we get back. Is that fruit? trees? I don't think so, but we're going to go a little bit closer and check it out. No, it's not. I think we've come a good ways from home. But that looks like a trader on that island. Alright, I guess we got to swim over there. And we're starting to get a decent amount of metal scrap too, so before long we're going to start making some of the tools, but I am planning on decorating the forge with a lot of metals and metal scraps and kind of the like engineering department area. I don't know, the tinkering workshop. Gadget Zan. Something. I haven't really named it. Maybe we'll just call it Gadget Zan. But I'm planning on decorating that with a bit of metal scrap too. No survival goods again. Get rid of you. Oh look, I could make 5 gears if I had my copper with me. But yeah, we're gonna have to probably end up taking a prospect of this area. I wish that would have been a prospecting pick. We'll definitely have to take a prospect of this area at some point. Because it's possible this could be our 10 area spoken of in legend, and we could just pull up maybe tons of tin and bismuth and stuff, you know, those like tier 2 sort of metals. Alright, what kind of a vessel you got? Food. Ah, flax grain. Oh, that's gonna get tossed down. Man, is it dusty here. Like, it's almost hard to see. It's funny how, like, advanced Vintage Story is. Like, as far as, like, weather and stuff like that. How advanced it is compared to Minecraft. Whenever I first started playing Vintage Story, it wasn't quite as crazy as it is now. You know, back then, I want to say there wasn't like the realistic world mapping, so it was basically kind of just the scattered, what's now the scattered like biome types, because I remember being kind of in a cold place, I want to say, and then we had like a desert right next to us and stuff. Now you can still choose the scattered type now, but oh wow, isn't that pretty? Is that not just... I mean, you could have that as like a painting, minus that grass like slinging in there, but that's just beautiful. That like fog-covered lowlands and those mountains kind of rising up. Oh man, it really is a good-looking game. So what do we got at this trader? Please be agriculture. You'd be my best friend forever. Clothing. We got wool legs. Yeah, I'm really thinking we're going to take those wool legs. Because that's 3 degrees. This is only 2. It's only 3 gears. I mean, winter's almost over, but that's going to give us a 1 degree difference, which is actually pretty big. 1 degree difference for next year. We never really got cold, except when I went out with some of my stuff starting to break and went swimming whilst hunting. But, you know, in the mountain, we don't have to worry about the, honestly, winter, I don't think. Because we stay warm all the time, but, you know, if we were going up north to, like, colder areas, we would have to worry about it more. Or if we're out in the elements, like we were the first year, we'd have to worry about it more. But, honestly, even then, just throw down some firewood and make a little fire for a split second. It's not too big of a deal. It's just something to kind of bear in mind generally. But I think I'm going to basically go off in this direction, then I'm going to kind of wind my way back up to the north. Doesn't look like we're going to be looking for new plants here. I haven't noticed any fruit trees. Of course, it's gotten dark on me now, but I didn't notice any before. Basically, I just want to come up a different route. We do have some beautiful scenery, and honestly, just finding new stone types and places to quarry those heavily is really, for me, one of the most important things. I like collecting seeds and fruit trees, but it's not as much of a necessity as just having the building materials that I need. Oh ho! Really? We got a resin tree. It's like 1,000,000 miles away, but... Yeah, I think we'll try to swing wide and go around Gravel Mountain here. Oh, we got copper and peridotite. Oh, we got a pear tree stem. And apparently there's pear tree leaves up here, but I don't see them. Probably because it's winter. Oh yeah, peridotite. Is this, Aha! We found, literally right where we come up, there is a meteor. Oh. Do I have the space, or do I just want to come back for it later? I'm not probably going to be able to carry all of it anyways. But what we might do is just poke our head down at the very least. And just kind of see what we got here. Because I don't need, like, flax grain. I definitely don't need flax grain. And I've got other things, you know, that I can throw down, so... Okay, actually, right back here is our meteor. Got a bit of the swavite, but I still got a lot to go. I definitely want it. Just gotta... I gotta get it all gathered up. Man, we did really good on aged crates. I'm gonna have to break 2 and get 2, so... Simply cannot be helped. I mean, I could chisel them, but... Like I said, I'm gonna need some meteor stones, so... Or some meteor ingots. Oh, we got a diamond. I need a little more space. Granite cobblestone. I think we can do without you. Oh my gosh, more. This one was pretty decent size. Oh, there's another one. Okay, so how did we do? We got 5 meteoric iron blocks, and then we got 16 iron meteorite pieces. So that's going to be 8 ingots. So technically we've got enough ingots now if we wanted to make like an anvil or something like that, we could. Okay, I think we've done about all the damage we can do here. Okay, so this is the cave that we have to go down to get back to our house. There we go. So we'll pop on back home, and I'm gonna need to make a quicker way to get down here instead of running through these caves, but we did pretty good. Even though there's no new plants or anything like that, we did. We found a meteor. We found some new traders, mainly clothes, and places to sell, really. And we found places to get granite, another place to look for peridotites. We're going to have to take a prospect for that area, but I'll try to remember to take a prospecting pick next time we head over that way. They do have 8 of these, which is honestly tempting, because I love the aged crates so much, but... Oh, and the iron fences. It'd be 52 gears. The iron fence tops are tempting for me. Let me have those. I actually want all of them. A little bit costly, but... I can see me needing these. That drops us down to 19 gears, but I can see me needing these, or wanting these, down the road, since our build is fairly metal-based. And the iron fence tops actually do look really, really good. They're not craftable. I hate dropping that many gears, but it's okay. I got a couple paintings today. I still got 19 gears, and I could easily round up some stuff to go sell. But I have a feeling that might be something that we just have to buy on site later on. I don't know. I do know it's probably a block that we're going to end up using a lot of, so may as well get a start on it. Looks like we've actually got a lot of wind blowing today. That windmill's getting with it at the moment. But let's take a look at our new spiffy iron fence tops. Like, look at that. So we'll definitely be using these in some places, I imagine. I don't have any immediate plans for it, but my base is like nowhere near finished, and I can see us using them. And let's go ahead and hang up our paintings. Now, these aren't going to be permanent spots. because honestly I'd like to have the paintings like in a museum. But just so that we can enjoy them for now, we can go ahead and put our paintings up. Let's actually do it more like that. And I'm probably going to end up wanting a bunch of all the different paintings over time, but it's just, that's another thing. It's going to get expensive, and it's something we kind of have to work up to. So, and there we go. We got lots of copper ingots. It's wonderful. All right, but I'm going to get these bloomeries going. I'm basically going to be hopefully processing. It depends on if the wind drops off on me. I'm going to be hopefully processing down 48 blooms before it's all said and done. That's the goal anyways. I'm going to be turning all of these into tools probably. And then once we get done, and I'll set that chest up there just to kind of store our stuff. But you can see this is finishing up on that one. And then I'll be able to take that ingot over there. You know, I got to wait like 5 seconds. Not a big deal for us. Grab that. Toss that. Throw in one more piece of coal. There we go. Like I said, the additional helve hammers, that's really just going to kind of come into play whenever we're mass producing plates and doing ingots and stuff. Which we will want to do. We definitely want to get more helve hammers up and running as quickly as possible. But at the moment, one is going to simplify our lives a lot. It's going to make smithing substantially faster, not to mention it's going to take substantially less durability from our hammers, which means we're going to save iron in the long run. So, even though it was a bit expensive on materials, we can churn things out at this point. So, just keep the assembly line going, because I'm basically at this point, I'm basically making one tool part for one charcoal. So, conversion rate is quite good at this point, and speed is quite good at this point. Okay, our next batch of blooms is done, so I can move kind of just straight into those. But it definitely speeds things up a lot, to be sure. But sometimes I'm waiting on this just slightly once we have 2, especially when I'm making chisels, because they're so fast, and hammerheads and things like that, I have to wait on it a little bit. Not a major deal. Plus, I think it actually is maybe slowing down. Or no, these ingots are hot. Usually, it's honestly kind of waiting on the forges to some degree. Because earlier I pulled a bloom out when it was just like barely 800 degrees. And the helve hammer managed to get through it before it cooled off. And then I managed to smith it into a chisel, or hammer it into a chisel, before it cooled off. But it was close, you know. Not a big deal if we have to reheat it, but I try to get things done for the most part before I have to reheat them. I'll probably end up making more chisels. That's probably enough. Well, probably one more hammerhead. I think that's enough swords because I still got one on me. Enough swords for now, at least. And then I'll probably end up making plates too, because I am going to need them. And this is how I like to smith, by the way. I like manually smithing a lot. You know, I don't want them to really ever automate it so you don't have to smith, or the tools parts are just made and all that, because that would just be terrible. But I do love having the helve hammer. I think it's wonderful, because you can just kind of get this whole like forge going, this whole forge system going, that is actually quite enjoyable. I'm gonna go ahead and make more shears. I know I'm gonna need them this year, so. And I'll probably... How many pickaxes? I've only made 4. Yeah, I'm going to make more pickaxes. But yeah, this is going to be like 48 ingots worth of tools. I may go ahead and make another batch of axes too. But for me, I've been excited to get my helve hammer up and going so I can do this, basically. But I will have to make more charcoal for sure after this batch. I think I can get through this batch with the charcoal that we've got, but... it's gonna be pretty much like all we can muster. So, okay, after smelting all that iron, I couldn't resist poking my head back down here and mining up the rest of the iron that was down in this vein that we mined a bit of earlier. And of course, now that we have pickaxes, so I didn't run through this entire pickaxe, but we still ended up with almost 6 more stacks. So we ended up with what, over over 8 stacks. So that's not bad, considering this is rich iron. It's not a bad haul, to be honest. And there might still be a little bit more iron here, but I'm not going to hold my breath on it. I was pretty thorough, I think, clearing all this out. But you can see this whole big mess of a maze. That's where the pit to death was. I just covered over it. But yeah, I think I got pretty much everything. And I've also started, I've got to go around the village and hit up all the places where I've got copper stored and iron stored and other materials stored, because I'm going to be kind of consolidating our metals into the smith at this point. Like I said, the village smith, the hamlet smith, is just going to be kind of a front. We'll make an anvil to put back over there, but at this point we probably won't. Realistically, probably won't use it that much. Because, of course, this forge has more facilities, it's more upgraded, you know, it's got more of what we actually need at this stage of the game, which is more ingot casts. And, yeah. And generally, it's a little bit more drifter safe. It will be more so here fairly soon. But if you want to take a look at how we did, let me actually organize this just a little bit. With the long blade that we've got 4 backups. We got 4 more axes, and I think I've still got a couple. We got 4 shears. We got 9 chisels. We got 20 pickaxes. And of course, I do have a spare on me at the moment. And then we got 8 more iron hammerheads. And I've got to make charcoal. I've got 3 remaining. 3 charcoal remaining. And then over here, I moved our native copper nuggets and our magnetite nuggets up here. And I'm going to go through, and we've got a bit of time. It's the 3rd of March. We've probably got a bit of time before we can actually start planting crops and doing like normal spring stuff. So one thing I would like to do is go around, gather up all of our metals from everywhere, bring them here, and kind of just sort things out, because I've got a lot of things that need to be kept for displays, you know, ore samples, crystallized chunk samples, and then just the ore sample itself. I need to sort through all of that, separate it, and then I need to break down all of the ore that we've got. I need to break it all down and put it basically into those crates, into those aged crates. Okay, I got everything kind of just brought up here and consolidated, so this is kind of our collection stuff that we're probably not going to process down. I mean, we've got a lot of poor crystallized chunks, so I might process some of those down, but we actually got extremely lucky on those too. But it was a really big vein. To be fair, it was a very big vein. That was like almost 2 chests of iron, but that's all stuff that we're not going to break down. This is all stuff that we will break down. So we actually have quite a bit of iron here and quite a bit of copper still left after doing 160 ingots worth. I did bring up our ingots from down at the smith, as well as we've got a few like really random nuggets up here. We've got 33 iron ingots on hand, which is good. And then we've got 213 nuggets of copper, 573 nuggets of magnetite. We do have quite a bit of iron. We've got quite a bit of copper. I would honestly like to get 2 more batches of bloomeries going, so 48 blooms, and turn 12 of those into a helve hammer setup with the head and the anvil. And maybe turn the rest into just plates. Keep some on hand, you know, in case we need them, but turn most of them into lanterns. So that we can light up some of the space. Okay, I went ahead and broke down everything that was in this trunk. And to give you an idea, this crate right here is just galena. I've got some galena spots to mine. So I figured, well, I'll go ahead and make a crate of that, because I do have quite a few places that have galena. But we have a full crate of 2,048 magnetite nuggets and another 1,118 magnetite. So we're sitting pretty good. I'd like to have more personally, but we're sitting pretty good on magnetite. And then over here we have a full 2048 on copper and another 107 on copper. So a little bit lower on copper, But then again, we did just make 160 ingots, so it'll be alright. And with the stuff from down in the forge, we have 33 iron ingots made up, and 161 copper, so we're pretty good on materials. I did go ahead, and that was actually after I loaded down 3 bloomer. I gotta make more fire bricks. I'm running on fumes on those too right now. And I filled up these too. So we've got 7 blooms, or 7 bloomeries ready to go of magnetite, and we still have that much left over. So we're sitting pretty good on magnetite. Also, if you're on the Discord, you would have saw a post, maybe, like if you're on my Discord, you may have saw a post a couple weeks ago. It would have been a couple weeks ago now. Like I said, I tend to like to stay a bit ahead on vintage story videos because certain projects, they do take a while, you know. In certain videos, they do take a while. Like this week's, or the past week's videos took a while. But I literally went through our town. I took pretty much every drop of wood that was not larch or walnut. Every other drop of wood. So all of our oak, all of our birch, all of our pine, and still had to chop some wood. But I finally filled this pit with charcoal one last time. So that tells you how little wood we actually have left. We don't have much. And that was after chopping down a huge forest and chopping wood other times consistently so far. But we've been churning through some charcoal like hardcore. If you recall, we had like 500 a while back, and now we have like 3. Now, something that I would like to do before we end out this episode, there's one other thing that I'd like to do, because I know we're getting close to wrapping up point. But we're going to set up our very first to-do board, because we're now into year 3. It's March 4th, very kind of beginning of spring. We're going to set up a to-do board. For right now, it's going to be here. Now, long term, I'd like to have it in the plaza, but for right now, it's going to be here. Let's go ahead. Honestly, I think 16 or 8. No, let's do 16. Now we've got a little bit more to work with here. This is going to be our to-do board. So for this year, this is our goals anyways. Doesn't mean we'll get all of them done, but we're going to put roughly 2 crates of junk wood, which would be things like oak, pine, maple, birch, stuff that we would use. It's not our rare wood. Stuff that we would use for making things like charcoal. And that is after any other tasks. Still have roughly 2 crates of junk wood left over, because we're going to be doing a big resource push. We're also going to be looking for 2+ more iron nodes, because I would like to get those. 2 more iron nodes would have us setting really, really good. So we're going to be shooting for at least 4+ helve hammers in the first forge. Well, technically it's our second forge, but the first forge here. I want to have at least 4 or more helve hammers. I'd like to get a walnut, and I'm going to put plus. I don't know what tree I'm going to pair it with, but walnut plus tree farm. Tree farm in place. I'd also like a crate of charcoal. That would be awesome. Also a crate of basalt smooth stone. And let's say 10+ crates of stone. So we want at least a crate, ideally a crate of basalt smooth stone, and 10 crates of stone bits. We also want a crate of smooth chert, because I eat through the stuff. I'd also, while I'm at it, crate of smooth shale. Same reason, I eat through it. We also want a crate of smooth slate, plus 10+ crates of stone. Pig pen. I'd like to get that in place. Also, pig pen plus ram pen. We'll just put that. We'll try to get the other animals kind of pinned in a little bit better than they are right now. Let's also plan on, these are goals. I don't know if we'll get all of them done. Resources are really the most important thing. But I can get resources at a very fast rate. I'm actually very, very good at getting resources because I don't get bored. I can just sit, like excavating, you know, I just sit here and I just mine. No skin off my back. I actually find it extremely relaxing. But let's plan on finishing warehouse because we really need to get that done. Because this is like the third year that we've had it. It needs to get done. And I should specify that by crate, I mean roughly 1,000. Because crates are somewhat variable in nature. Aged crates hold, you know, a different amount than crafted crates. And certain items you can store more of. For example, nuggets, you can store like over 2,000. Logs only store like 300 and something. Wood, I don't mean 600 and something wood. I mean like 2,000 plus wood. Let's plan on finishing the reed farm, which is the building, plus expand reeds, because that's another thing that needs to be done. Let's plan on, I mean, I'd like to add in the second B area, but it's honestly, it's not really a big rush for us right now because I've got plenty of honeycomb coming in, though this year may change it now that I can make a lot of plates and stuff. Let's put, locate and mine zinc, because we really need to do that. Also, for our last task, salt. We're going to try to find some salt this year. That's going to be our goals for this year. A lot of resource-based things, a little bit of building with the pig pens, the warehouse, the reed farm. I think these 3 build projects will be reasonable. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to screenshot that. That way I can remember and have it pulled up when I'm not up here. And we'll try to take down the signs periodically as we get those tasks completed. I know it's wrapping up point for this episode. We are on March 4th. I'm probably going to go straight into the next recording. And next episode, we're going to get on some heavy resource farming. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be fun. I love resource hauls in Vintage Story. Basically month after month after month after month of just heavy farming. But that means, you know, we did that big tree push, the first year or whatever when we were looking for resin. It helped us out and allowed us to kind of coast for about a year. But now we really need to make an even bigger push into resources. So this is going to be our year to do it. Year 3, we're good on tools and stuff for right now. And we can make more once we get more charcoal and stuff like that. So I think that'll be reasonable. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys then.